Guys, coach will open, raise your hand. We'll get you a mic. Keep them up for me for a second.
Well, you know, I've kind of been pleased with the way our players have gone out there and really focused on what they need to develop. Each player needs to understand the process of what he needs to do to be able to be a contributor on the team. We kind of put the guys where a lot of the young players that are here are on the threes, so we keep the ones and the threes together, then the twos and the fours together, so that the older guys can continue to help the younger guys develop, to see how many of those guys that we can get to where they might be able to contribute and play winning football next year. But it continues to be a goal to improve discipline, effort, ability to finish plays, toughness, more people being responsible to do their job. I mean, one of the things that I think I've never really had to talk much about here, because you've always been really good at this, but I'm really talking about it now, is players have to understand that you have to keep from getting beat before you can win. In other words, you can't give the other team, because of your mental errors or lack of focus or discipline or ability to execute opportunities. It's like giving people extra outs in baseball. I mean, eventually somebody's going to beat you. The first thing you have to do is be able to go out there and execute and do things the right way. And that'll keep you from getting beat. Then you'll have a really good chance of being able to execute and being successful. I think leadership is something that we're trying to emphasize. I think, you know, having people on the team and peers on the team that can really reinforce the principles and values of the program and the organization are really beneficial to developing the kind of team chemistry that you need to have a championship team. And you know, all the good teams that we've had around here, the teams that have won championships, we've had the kind of leadership that help people sustain, you know, through the tough times. And they demanded that everyone sort of adhere to the standard. It wasn't just the coaches, you know, preaching that. So, and I think that's important, and it's really, it really makes it special when you have the best players on your team also are the guys that are the best leaders. And that's something that I'm hopeful we'll be able to have on this year's team and develop it even further to help us have a chance to be successful. So everybody's back okay from the spring. We don't have any new injuries to talk about at this point. You know, we'll probably take it easy on some of the guys that are coming off of the knees and so forth in spring practice and try to get them more ready for the fall.
Okay, Coach, we'll start with Charlie.
With you guys leaving this offseason, how do you feel about the depth at safety? And you mentioned leadership. How important is it for a guy like Xavier McKinney to step up there and bridge as a leader?
Well, Xavier's done a great job. He's had a great offseason. I mean, I think he was one of the best performers each week that we did offseason program for 4 weeks. You couldn't ask a guy to set a better example. I mean, his practice habits have been phenomenal these first 3 practices. I mean, he's doing everything he can to set a good example and be a leader for other players. But, you know, depth at safety is an issue, and we got some young guys coming in next year, and they're going to have an opportunity to contribute, and we got to get the guys that we have here now playing better with more consistency.
Who's in the middle, Michael?
What have you observed from the running backs with Najee Harris, Brian Robinson stepping into bigger roles this year?
Well, those guys have been good. I mean, they've had good off-season programs. They practice really well. I think they've got enough playing experience that they understand what it takes to be successful in terms of doing the job and being responsible and accountable to get it done, whatever it is, whether it's pass blocking on a passing play, running a route, catching the ball, you know, being an effective runner. And I think past those 2 guys is, you know, where we really want to try to develop some depth. I know we recruited a couple guys that will have an opportunity to do that, but we also have a couple other guys out there that I think has a chance to do it as well. And Darius Townsend, we worked there some, and he's actually showed some promise.
Coach, we'll go in the middle with Taryn.
How has Dylan Moses proven he's ready to be the Mike linebacker?
Well, we're not playing him completely at Mike linebacker. We rotate him every day. So he's a good football player. There's not really any difference between playing Mike and Will, except one plays on the tight end side and one plays on the split end side. So I don't think he has anything to prove. It's just a matter of getting him reps, and if you understand things from a conceptual standpoint, strong hook player does certain things. So sometimes it's a strong hook player when you're playing Will, sometimes it's a strong hook player when you're playing Mike. But he's a very instinctive guy, and I think he'll be very productive wherever he ends up playing. And we'll try to figure that out based on who else will be ready to play for him, and how we might play him different in nickel than we do in regular. So we'll just see how that develops.
Stay over here with Tony.
What have you seen from Matt Womack and Alex Leatherwood? We've kind of seen them in different spots during practice.
Yeah, they're doing great. They're doing really good. Alex played left tackle before in the national championship game, played it his whole freshman year. So, we just try to get our 5 best guys there, and he made a sacrifice to go play guard for a year, but Matt's now playing guard, trying to help us get the best 5 guys on the field, and he's been pretty good at that. So I think the issue is making sure that the center position is solidified. Chris Owen has done a good job there so far, but that's the thing that we need to make sure we develop the depth and consistency, because we've been very fortunate to have some very experienced, good players playing that position in the past.
2 more. We'll start with Reiner now.
You mentioned the Alabama factor all spring. How did you come up with that, slogan, and how important is consistent messaging at this time of year?
It isn't a slogan. I didn't come up with it. It's been who I am for the last 20-some years. It's been who we are ever since we've been here. I mean, you could ask somebody that played on, the first second team that we had here that went 12-0 or whatever and lost in the SEC championship game, and they could recite and tell you exactly what that is, because so it's not a slogan. It's really what the program's built on.
We'll finish up right here with Alex.
How much does having Trayvon come back healthy, having Patrick with a year of experience, how much does having some of that experience in the secondary give you confidence with that group this season?
Well, I mean, those guys are both good players. I think they played well last year when they played. I think they both can improve, and that's what we're focusing on and working on. And we're moving Trayvon around a little bit, just playing some star. I mean, we've done that with Patrick in the past. Maybe we'll do it again. So, but I think those guys, by paying attention to detail, using the knowledge and experience and some of the things that they can learn from a year ago, can really help them. And I think the fact that we have really good receivers out there that require you to do the things the right way is going to help those guys, because they're going to get challenged every day, and I think that'll be helpful to them as well.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.